Welcome to About Mansfield. It is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio West. This is the February 25th, 2026, 309th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield news, talk, and information. Let's check the stories we're covering this week.
Community discusses proposed landmark highlighting 1956 desegregation case.
We talk pavement management and more in a moment with the mayor.
Candidate withdraws from city council race.
Mansfield ISD votes against separate daily prayer period.
Geyer Commons grand opening set for Friday.
Texas Health Mansfield secures naming rights for Mansfield Stadium.
Mansfield Stadium still in the World Cup base camp hunt.
And in sports, softball and soccer take center stage.
And in the talk segment, Steve concludes Black History Month with an in-studio talk with the Reverend Floyd Moody. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Looking for a night out that's anything but ordinary? Step into Vault Seafood and Steakhouse, Mansfield's premier upscale dining experience. Savor perfectly aged steaks, fresh seafood, and handcrafted cocktails, all served in a stunning atmosphere. Want more? Enjoy private dining rooms and a cigar lounge for that extra touch of luxury. Vault delivers exceptional flavor in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Located at Matlock and Country Club, Vault Seafood and Steakhouse. Unforgettable nights. Unmatched taste.
I'm Yulani Lashley, President and CEO of Texas Health Hospital Mansfield, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by Vault Seafood and Steakhouse.
A standing room-only crowd gathered Saturday night at the Mann House Museum for a public meeting focused on Mansfield's 1956 school desegregation case and early plans for a proposed landmark marking the event's 70th anniversary. The meeting was hosted by the Mansfield Historical Society, along with members of the Desegregation Landmark Committee and representatives connected to Bethlehem Baptist Church. Organizers said the effort is intended to encourage education and reflection while inviting community input. Speakers revisited the 1956 desegregation case when attempts to integrate Mansfield High School drew national attention and resistance. Historical Society President Tom Leach told attendees that acknowledging difficult chapters is part of understanding a city's history. Mayor Michael Evans described the proposed landmark as a way to recognize the past while also highlighting Mansfield's current growth and diversity. Preliminary plans call for a public installation near the gazebo at Geyer Commons. Concepts discussed include a central flagpole plaza, interpretive panels outlining the history, a pathway reflecting population growth, and a 4-foot bronze statue depicting children of different ethnicities. Organizers estimate the statue could cost around $24,000. The project would be privately funded through donations and sponsorships. No timeline has been finalized. Dr. Christopher Ohan of Texas Wesleyan University outlined a 4-panel interpretive display summarizing Mansfield's segregated past, the legal fights surrounding desegregation, key events of 1956, and the city's development since that time. Organizers say the design remains in early stages, and additional opportunities for public feedback are expected before the 70th anniversary observance later this year.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. As we say every other Tuesday, top of the morning, Mayor Michael Evans.
Type of the morning. It's a type morning. Top of the morning to you, sir.
Let's just jump right into it. It's a busy episode this week. So you started off with a work session. You're talking pavement.
We are talking pavement. You know, when you're talking about infrastructure, Pavement management is important. So we were looking back at the past 5 years and comparatively analyzing where we are now. This covered an explanation of the Pavement Condition Index, which helps to determine if roads can be repaired or need complete reconstruction. A whole lot of technical stuff. The bottom line is we are repairing pavement.
There you go.
In our city. So, yeah, that's what we talked about. And we just want to make sure that we are good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars when we do it.
And the next item, it's always good to pay attention to the next generation.
You know what? We did have a joint work session with our youth council, the Mansfield Youth Council, where they presented the results of their youth survey results. This impressive group of young adults, they provided a thorough presentation about how we as a city can work together to connect and serve the youth of Mansfield. You know what? I used to say they're Generation Next. They're actually Generation Now because they are actually contributing to the tax base. And they talked about having gathering spaces for them, not just little kids,
right,
but for teenagers and young adults. And we heard them loud, and we're going to be doing some things in that area.
Salvation Army had some results.
Yes, you know, it took a little while. I guess they had to have a recount, but everything went well.
Nonetheless. The hanging chads and all that.
Oh, boy, I tell you, all of that. And listen, we were honored. The city of Mansfield was honored with the Salvation Army Red Kettle Mayoral Challenge Trophy. And we want to thank all of our residents, everybody who supported us out there ringing that bell. And it's important to note that these donations help to fight poverty, addiction, homelessness in North Texas, in particular in Arlington and Mansfield. And way to go, Mansfield. We raise more funds than Arlington, Keller, Fort Worth, Pantego, Dalworthington Garden, Forest Hill, Everman, and the list goes on. Way to go, Mansfield,
wow.
Texas.
Way to step up. Let's change subjects.
Yeah.
Sidewalks.
Let's talk sidewalks. Well,
yeah.
you know, it's good to have sidewalks, especially as we do the best we can to be a walkable city. So the council approved the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Project, which has historically helped us to revitalize our public areas here in town. So the staff recommended the ongoing projects of putting sidewalks into our city, in particular to our older neighborhoods, so that we can have walkability there. And in this particular case, we focused on the downtown area. So we're really excited about it, and it's just a good amenity to have.
And a zoning change is coming to us.
Yeah, you're going to see some changes along Highway 157. As a matter of fact, 2445 FM 157 and turn away. So we did approve a zoning change from a community business district to a planned development district where there will be townhomes in that area. And this helps us to continue to plug in, Steve, what we call our missing middle. We're on one end of the spectrum. You either have multifamily, you have a single family dwellings, but we need people in the middle so they can continue to grow up into said types of housing, or they can actually come down to a place where living in a home is more manageable for them.
I'm looking for a place to park my RV.
Well, I tell you what, we've got something for you, buddy.
Okay.
All right, we approved an ordinance that will regulate the parking of recreational vehicles on our streets and public right-of-way. So let me just say this to you, buddy. You can do it, but you won't be able to do it for like an entire summer. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, you better hear me, or we're going to come after you.
All right, consent agenda. There are 8 items, and let's do the recap.
Okay, all right. Like you say, the sexy one. So here we go. So, in regard to the consent agenda, it included a $250,000 was approved for right-of-way of acquisition surveying for the Mathis Road Extension Project. And here's what's important about this one. That's why this is the sexy one. This roadway connection is going to help to improve citywide mobility as our beautiful city just continues to grow, sir. We want to be clear that people need more ways to enter and exit the city, which will help to tamp down some of the congestion that we're seeing in our growing city, maybe even in our growing metroplex. And it's important to note that the funding for this project comes from TERS number 1, tax increment reinvestment zone, which means that no financial impact is to our residents here in Mansfield. So when you spend money in that particular zone, those dollars come back to that fund and pays for that construction. And that's a good thing. So,
yes.
So that's why that's a sexy one, buddy.
Anything else?
You know what? One more thing. It's a big thing. Finally, Geyer Commons is going to be open Friday night at 5 p.m. We're telling folks to come out. This is our new gathering space here in town. This is also the new gateway into the downtown area. We see that dirt is moving also at Broad Street and South Main. I mean, it's happening. You got the new fire station number 1 that's just about completed on Walnut Creek. So, come to Geyer Commons. Phase 1 of this is going to be fantastic. Bring the kids, bring the family. That's what this is all about.
I'll be there.
I will see you there, my friend.
That is a moment with the mayor. That is Mayor Michael Evans, as we do every other week here on About Mansfield. Mr. Mayor, go forth. Have a great day.
And you go forth and prosper as well. Thank you, buddy.
Mansfield City Council Place 7 candidate Eric Rozak announced he is withdrawing from the May election. In a written statement dated February 19th, Rozak said that after reflecting on the race, he decided not to continue his campaign. He had previously outlined his reasons for running, citing leadership, experience, and a desire to serve the city. In the statement, he said that as the campaign developed, he found himself facing what he described as a qualified and experienced opponent, though not mentioned by name but referring to Dr. Jim Vajauskas. Rozak noted that he did not believe a prolonged election contest between two candidates with similar goals would benefit the city. Rozak also referenced his recent appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission, calling it an opportunity to continue serving Mansfield. He said he did not want to create division or what he viewed as an unnecessary election expense for taxpayers. Rozak formally withdrew his candidacy for Place 7 and wished fellow candidate Dr. V success in his next leadership role. With Rozak's withdrawal, both candidates for the Mansfield City Council Places 6 and 7 races are now running unopposed.
Mansfield Independent School District trustees voted unanimously last week not to create a separate daily prayer period in district campuses, following a new Texas law that requires all public school boards to take a recorded vote on the issue by March 1st. The vote was approved under the board's consent agenda, meaning it passed along with other routine items without separate discussion. The new state law does not require districts to adopt a prayer period. However, it does require trustees to publicly decide whether to establish one. If approved, districts must set aside time during the school day for students to pray or read religious texts in separate spaces with written parental consent. Families would also be required to waive the right to sue over constitutional claims related to the policy. In Mansfield ISD, the resolution declining the additional period cited existing local policies that already allow student-led prayer and religious groups. It also referenced state laws permitting prayer before the Texas and U.S. pledges. District leaders indicated that current policies already protect students' religious expression. Several other Tarrant County districts have reached similar decision. Lake Worth, Hearst Euless Bedford, Eagle Mountain Saginaw, and Castleberry have also voted not to adopt the additional period. Meanwhile, Keller and Aledo ISDs approved the additional time in late 2025. Other area districts, including Fort Worth, Crowley, and White Settlement, are expected to take up the required vote before the deadline. For now, Mansfield ISD will continue operating under its existing policies, which allow individual and group prayer consistent with federal and state law.
A new public gathering space in historic downtown Mansfield is set to officially open this Friday, February 27th, with a full weekend of activities planned. Geyer Commons will host a ribbon-cutting ceremony Friday evening, followed by live music, food trucks, mini-golf, and promotional giveaways. City officials and community members are expected to attend as the new development opens to the public. Events continue Saturday morning with free yoga on the lawn, along with a pop-up market featuring local vendors. Organizers say additional food trucks will be on site throughout the day, along with a morning DJ, afternoon live music, free crafts, and Mansfield-themed loteria activities. The weekend concludes Sunday with open play pickleball, lawn games, and additional food and dessert vendors. A key feature of Geyer Commons is the debut of 12 cottage businesses that will operate on site. Parking details and additional event information are available on the Geyer Commons website.
Community leaders gathered Thursday morning to announce a 10-year naming rights agreement for the new Texas Health Mansfield Stadium, currently under construction and scheduled to open this summer. The event featured representatives from Hunt Sports Groups, Rev Entertainment, Texas Health Hospital Mansfield, the City of Mansfield, Moss Construction, and North Texas Soccer Club. Texas Health Hospital Mansfield CEO Yolani Lashley said the partnership aligns with the hospital's mission to promote overall wellness beyond clinical care. She emphasized the importance of encouraging healthy lifestyles through community involvement, youth sports, and family engagement. Moss Construction Vice President Ryan Carter confirmed the project remains on schedule for a summer 2026 opening. He said major structural elements are nearing completion, with the work continuing on railings, video boards, and interior finishes. The first North Texas Soccer Club match at the new stadium is expected on July 4th. The Texas Health Mansfield Stadium is designed to host professional soccer matches as well as community events throughout the year. With the FIFA World Cup coming to North Texas as well as other locations, organizers also noted that 2026 is expected to be a significant year for soccer in the United States, with increased national attention on the sport.
And speaking of the World Cup, with 6 spots still open in the 40-team 2026 FIFA World Cup field, final tournament berths will be decided during playoff competitions in the last week of March. As Arlington prepares to host 9 World Cup matches, the most of any host city, attention is also turning to where teams will train and stay during the tournament. Mansfield's Texas Health Mansfield Stadium remains in contention as a potential base camp site. Construction continues at the stadium site along State Highway 360. Fresh grass was installed last week, and a video board is expected to be completed next week. City officials say the project remains on schedule and would need to be finished by May if selected as a base camp location. Mansfield is one of 4 potential base camp sites in North Texas, alongside TCU in Fort Worth, UNT in Denton, and Toyota Stadium in Frisco. Base camps serve as training and lodging hubs for teams throughout the tournament. So far, no teams have officially selected North Texas as their base, yet several teams have already chosen locations outside the state. Germany will train in North Carolina, while England, the Netherlands, and Argentina plan to stay in Kansas City. With 6 teams still to qualify and base camp decisions expected to take shape by the end of March, North Texas organizers say they remain hopeful that one or more teams will ultimately choose Mansfield.
Coming up, high school softball and soccer. We'll talk about it because sports is next.
Hungry for bold flavor and a good time? Head on over to El Primo's to enjoy sizzling fajitas and their signature blue margarita. Enjoy weekend live entertainment and let the kids run wild with an outdoor play area and arcade. Planning a party? Multiple private rooms are available, including the all-new Parrot's Nest to make your event a success. Food, fun, and flavor for the whole family at El Primo's. Visit elprimos.net and bring your appetite. Located at Matlock and Country Club. El Primo's, where the locals go.
Mansfield Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air is a family-owned local service provider with over 20 years of experience. Servicing Mansfield and surrounding areas, we offer expert plumbing, electrical, heating, and air solutions focused on quality workmanship, customer satisfaction, fair pricing, and guaranteed results for homes and businesses.
Call 817-473-8888. Mansfield Plumbing's never second rate.
In sports, let's take a look at the results and standings from around Mansfield ISD athletics. We start with softball. It's been a rocky start for all 5 Mansfield ISD teams. Lake Ridge played 6 games across Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this past weekend, finishing the weekend with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. The Lady Eagles now sit at 5-8-1 on the season. The Legacy Lady Broncos, last year's first-place district finishers, also competed in a 6-game tournament this past weekend. Legacy went 3-3 over the weekend, stands now at 5-8 despite their slow start. Junior phenom Lily Hope Gaudio leads the team in batting average at .536, along with on-base percentage, stolen bases, hits, and runs scored. Your Mansfield Lady Tigers had a difficult weekend, dropping 4 of 5 games. Max Preps has them listed at 1-7 on the season, but 2 scores have yet to be reported. The Summit Lady Jaguars took losses to Keller Central 12-4 and Ennis 15-5 and are now 2-5 on the season. The Timberview Lady Wolves fell on the road at Joshua 6-0 and currently hold a 5-8-2 record. On the pitch, let's talk about girls soccer. Lake Ridge defeated Mansfield 4-0 and remains unbeaten, 7-0, sitting atop the 6A district standings. Legacy lost a close match to Weatherford, 1-0. Timberview was defeated by Joshua, 6-0. And Summit fell to Seguin, 2-0. in a Thursday match. Let's move on over to basketball playoffs. The girls' season is concluded as the Summit Lady Jaguars were defeated by Argyle 58-49 Friday night in the area round of the UIL State Championship Tournament. Summit finishes the season at 23-11 overall, finishing first with an 11-3 record in district play. Boys basketball playoffs are just getting underway. Mansfield ISD teams advancing to the bi-district round include Lake Ridge, Summit, Mansfield, and Timberview. On Monday night, Timberview routed Pascal 81-52, while Summit dismantled Polytechnic 56-20. Tuesday night games were played after our publishing deadline, and they included Lake Ridge against VR Eaton and your Mansfield Tigers against Byron Nelson. And that, my friends, is a look at sports. This coming Sunday, March 1st, is also National Wedding Planning Day, also known as the annual reminder that love is patient, but vendors are not. It's the one day of the year when engaged couples sit down, open a spreadsheet, and whisper, "How much is a chair cover?" National Wedding Planning Day lands right in the heart of engagement season when Pinterest boards multiply faster than the guest list. You start with just close friends and family, and suddenly you're debating whether your mom's college roommate counts as close. Florists, DJs, caterers, they're all booking up faster than you can say rustic chic. And let's be honest, at some point, every couple says, we could just elope right before touring a venue with exposed brick and great natural light. So if you're planning a wedding, take a deep breath on Sunday before diving into the deep end. And remember, it's all about love, commitment, and making sure Uncle Ron doesn't grab the microphone. And here's one pro tip. Buttercream frosting does not do well in an outdoor summer setting. May your budget be flexible and your cake be stable.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
I'm Angel Biasatti, and today we're talking about something that affects so many people, depression. And Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
This week's cocktail doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be shared or posted or toasted. It's the kind of drink that lights a candle, draws a bath, cues up the jazz playlist, and tells the world, I'm good, thanks.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Congratulations to Jen Hurst, who was the first person to correctly answer last week's Mansfield trivia question. What was Mansfield-raised blues singer Ella Mae Morse's biggest-selling hit? Jen knew that it was the Blacksmith Blues and has won a $25 restaurant gift card. Are you looking for the weekly, highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question? You can find it at its new home on the About Mansfield Facebook page. So log on to Facebook right now and hit the About Mansfield News Talk page. As always, the first person to email the correct answer will win a $25 restaurant gift card, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance. Good luck.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
Hi, I'm Olympian athlete Jasmine Moore, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about how exercise can play a role in easing depression in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Today we're talking about something that affects so many people, depression, and one powerful tool that research continues to support, exercise. A large study looked at more than 14,000 people and found that many different kinds of physical activity can ease symptoms of depression. And here is the encouraging part. You do not need long workouts or complicated routines. Just get your body moving in a way that feels manageable, can help make a real difference. Here are some types of exercises the study found helpful. Simple things like walking or jogging. There's dance, which has some of the strongest results. Yoga, cycling, and Tai Chi also showed meaningful benefits. Just enjoy a little more intensity, strength training, and aerobic exercise were also effective. Even gentle relaxation and stretching routines help people feel better. The takeaway, there's not just one right kind of exercise. There's lots of options. Any amount of movement helps. You don't need hour-long sessions in the gym. You do not need fancy equipment. And you do not need to be perfect at it. A little movement done regularly can help improve your mood, your energy, and even your sleep. Another point from the research shows exercise can work on its own, and it also works with other treatments like therapy and medication. For people, many people, it becomes a part of a full toolkit for feeling better. So whether it's a brisk walk, a dance class, stretching at home, or lifting some light weights, find something that feels good to you. The key is finding a routine that works for your body and keeps you feeling your best. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a drink that looks out for number one in this week's Cocktail of the Week. Brian?
This is what happens when whiskey gets a therapist and starts journaling. Welcome back to the Cocktail of the Week on the About Mansfield podcast, brought to you by Bourbon Gospel, where we preach the gospel of bourbon to the uninitiated and the enthusiast. I'm your ever-popular host, Brian Certain, and we're closing out February's theme, love, in all its flavors, with the most underrated flavor of all, self-love. Let's be honest, loving others is a whole lot easier when you figured out how to love yourself first. And no, that doesn't always mean bubble baths and affirmation apps. Sometimes it looks like setting boundaries, turning down plans, and yes, maybe sipping a gorgeous cocktail solo on a Wednesday night because you are worth celebrating. This week's drink is delicate but strong, calming but invigorating. It's the Self-Love Sipper. It's a honey lavender whiskey sour that tastes like a quiet exhale. So, ingredients: 2 ounces of a good Texas bourbon. If you don't know what that is, reach out to me and I will point you in the absolute right direction. 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of honey lavender syrup, egg white, and then I love putting in a little lavender bitters in this cocktail. Garnish is dried lavender sprig or a lemon twist. Glassware, the ever-popular coupe or Nick and Nora glass are my preferences. How do we make this? You're going to combine the bourbon, the lemon juice, the honey lavender syrup, the egg white, and the bitters in a shaker without ice. And yes, that means we're doing a dry shake. A dry shake is a shake where you're using to combine especially the egg white and emulsify that. There's no ice added yet. But after about 15 seconds, we're now going to add the ice and shake again until well chilled and frothy. Again, 20 to 30 seconds. Then you're going to double strain into your chilled glass and then garnish with a lavender twist or a lemon sprig. The honey lavender syrup, how do you make it? 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of honey, and a tablespoon of culinary grade dried lavender. Simmer it together for about 5 to 15 minutes. Let cool and strain, and it'll keep in your fridge for up to 2 weeks. Now, a little trivia. The whiskey sour dates back to the mid-1800s and has always struck a balance: tart, sweet, and strong. Adding egg white was a 20th century innovation, softening the drink's edges with a silky texture. The lavender and honey both carry symbolic weight. Lavender for calm and clarity, and honey for nourishment. Pairing them with bourbon makes this drink a drink of strength and softness, the 2 pillars of real self-love. Plus, lemon juice provides a vitamin C boost and just enough tartness to keep things real. The mocktail version is 2 ounces of cold brew chamomile or lavender tea, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of the honey lavender syrup, and about 3/4 of an ounce of aquafaba for the foam. Use the same dry shake, wet shake process. Serve in a coupe glass. It's soothing, it's floral, and it's deeply comforting. No alcohol is necessary. So this week, make a toast to you, to progress over perfection, to quiet mornings and brave boundaries, to knowing that you are, and you have always been, enough. Because loving others starts with learning to love ourselves. And sometimes that lesson starts in a coupe glass with a lavender sprig. But as always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain so famously has said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for About Mansfield, I'm Brian Certain. And you're not.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio interview with the Reverend Floyd Moody.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Olympic athlete Joe Brown, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, the Moody family is deeply rooted in Mansfield, from education to the park system to the Mansfield Cemetery. Names like Thomas Mayfield or T.M. Moody, Mac McClendon Moody, Charles Moody, Ken Moody, and others. The Moodys lived through some tumultuous times in our city, yet chose to stay. And while some have passed on, many are still living here. Today, we are honored to welcome a faith leader and community figure whose work and influence have left a lasting mark on Mansfield's history and its Black community. His leadership, his service, his legacy continue to be recognized and preserved for future generations. In recognition of Black History Month, Reverend Floyd Moody, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Was that introduction accurate?
Yes, except Charles, I don't know. Oh, yeah, he was in the three, but that's T.M. Moody's nephew.
Okay, okay. And I'm glad you mentioned relationship, because what I would like to do is actually find out not only about Floyd, but Floyd's family tree. So can we go back in time? I know that we're talking 70, 80 years here, but
I'll do my best. My dad died in 2008, and he was the one that could really take us back in history. Now, I can't go as far back as he could, but I can go back to Mac McClendon Moody. I can go back to T.M. Moody and my family, and I can go back to some of my grandfather, my dad's father, his brother, and I've seen some of them I didn't know. I've seen pictures of them back in the early 1900s.
Let's start with your parents. Your dad's name was?
They named him J.E. Moody. They just put a J and then an E. That's where he went with until I think he got ready to get a Social Security card, and then he named himself James Earl.
Where was he raised, and how did they eventually get to Mansfield?
Mansfield has always been his home.
Okay.
And I don't know where his dad, John Moody, I think it's always been his home, but up above that, Kentucky or Tennessee or something, I think they came to this area. I don't know how they got here. Mm-hmm. All I know is that they seemed like the only thing they knew how to do was to work the fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he owned a farm.
My dad did. Yeah. He sharecropper. He didn't own the land. He just owned the labor. Mm. He did the labor with us. And and that's why integration helped me out a lot, because it got me out of the cotton field.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my dad, the sharecropper, if you made 5 bales of hay a year or 5 bales of cotton, they called wagon loads of cotton, I think the owner of the land got 3 and the worker got 2. And that's where it was when this, in 56, when this come about. My dad was sharecropper, didn't make enough money to even last a year. Mm-hmm. To a few bales of cotton that he'd make, and corn. He had corn and cotton. That's the only 2 things. He didn't make enough money to last through the winter. What would happen, he'd run out of money, then he'd have to go to the man that owned the land to borrow money to keep us going through the winter until spring, to time to gather crop next year. Now he doesn't get all he needed to get because he got to pay back what he borrowed last year, what he didn't have. Someone laughed at me, I think last month, a bunch of blackbirds came over our house, and somebody was laughing about those birds. And I said, do y'all realize when I was growing up, snow was on the ground, those snowbirds or whatever, my dad used to shoot them and we used to eat them. They said, you used to eat them? Yeah, we ate them. Didn't have anything else to eat. Rabbits, blackbirds, didn't eat no crow or hawk or nothing like that, but blackbirds, yeah, we ate those.
Do you recall what part of Mansfield you grew up in?
The Tarrant County, except 1 or 2 years we lived in, I think, what is it, Midlothian? Is that Johnson County?
Johnson County.
Johnson County. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, at that time, Mansfield didn't have Johnson County like he got Johnson County now and part of Ellis County or something else. Got about 3 counties. But then Mansfield was just Tarrant County. When we moved to Britton, Texas, my dad had a better offer from a man there that needed labor and moved down there, and he worked the farm down there for maybe 2 years, because I remember going to Midlothian school, and that was kind of a change, because I would wonder how could Midlothian have a school and also have a high school just 15, 20 miles from Mansfield, and we don't have one for blacks in Mansfield. But Midlothian at that time, I think, had a few more blacks than Mansfield didn't have many people during that time. I think somebody said maybe the whole town, city, was like 600 folk, maybe.
Right.
It wasn't very many people.
So Midlothian is where you went to elementary and
Part of it. I think I was in the 4th grade when I went to Midlothian. I think when I came back, Mansfield, I think I might have been in the 6th grade. Or I was in the 5th grade. I don't remember.
Okay.
5th grade, probably the 4th grade when I went to Midlothian. And I came back, I was in the 6th grade at Mansfield. And at that time I stayed there until the story that we're about to talk about came about.
Oh, the story's coming, but folks, you're just going to have to hang on.
Yeah.
Describe what downtown Mansfield looked like back in, we're talking 1940s, 50s, 60s?
What you see down there when it said downtown,
the
street, that was Mansfield. That was town. That one street didn't, at that time, I don't even think it had a name. It's Main Street now. All I remember is it had one signal light, and that was on the end down, coming out, if you're going south, coming out, that one light. The other light on the end coming in was a blinking light.
Okay.
Yeah, it says I only had one. I used to tell folk all the time, when you go to Mansfield, make sure you don't miss the last light. Because if you miss the last light, you're out of Mansfield. Up on the hill there, going on up the hill, there wasn't nothing out of it. Where you are now, this was all grass and hay out here where all this area. I used to haul hay out here. They would bale it, and I'd be crying to get on the hay field because I want to come out the cotton field.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to haul hay than to pick cotton.
Was that your daily life then?
That was as a teenager. That was my daily life. That's what we did until the little building right there on the corner of Broad and Main Street, sitting right over here. It's a restaurant, I believe, now. That was, I don't remember what it was, but I remember working one day with a construction company to build that building. And it was so tough, and the boss of the deal cussed and fussed so much, and we were just kids. Me and my brother going to work it. Pushing the concrete up there so the bricklayers could get it out and lay the brick. He cussed so, and we couldn't take it. Lunchtime came, we went home to eat and didn't come back. I never will forget my dad fussing about it. Oh, y'all quit that job? I asked Daddy, we couldn't take it no more. He got up in order to make things right because he knew the man needed that help. He went down, he come down to Mansfield, told the man them boys walked off, I'll come down here and finish their job. He did both our jobs. My dad at that time was a big, strong man, weighed about 230 pounds and about 6'2". And he's strong. He was a strong man. He could do to me. We weren't kids, 15, 16 years old. We couldn't handle that kind of job. Yeah.
When you were 15, 16 years old, or even younger, 8, 10 years old, tell me about your did you have any playtime? And tell me about your playtime.
If it wasn't no cotton to be picked, wasn't none to be chopped, wasn't no corn to be pulled. Then my playtime would be around the house. We always had something going on at the house that you worked. Mm-hmm. Johnson grass be growing up, and Dad say, well, y'all got to get out and cut that grass today. We didn't have no lawnmower. You had a hoe. Yeah, a hoe. Cut the Johnson grass growing up around the house because we wasn't around the house and play around it enough to kill it out, so you just have to cut it down. And Johnson grass, if everybody know it, if you don't dig it out, it'll be back next week. Mm-hmm. You just cut it off at the ground. Next week, it's back up like that. So that was our part-time job when we wasn't hauling hay, picking cotton, chopping corn, or chopping cotton. That was our job. And sometime we would, in the springtime, have time to go down and walk the streets of Mansfield. The residents would let us cut their yard.
Okay.
Back then, we'd get a couple of dollars for a yard cut. But that was good at that point because that was better than we had. We didn't have anything. And a lot of times we'd get old bicycles given to us. I never had the chance to ride a new bicycle growing up. Dad couldn't afford to buy one. But what we would do is when those kids are grown up and they gone, they got those old bikes hanging in the garage, and we stand around and look at it and, what you gonna do with it? You boys want it, y'all just take it. We got a lot of bicycles given to us like that. We'd take them home. Normally the tires are flat. We'd find a way to patch the tube up, get some air in it, and we ready to roll. That was kind of the joy of the time we'd have off. That's most of the joy time we had. All the other time, the old folk found something for you to do. It was just, I did think about it then, but I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
Why? All the other kids my age at that time, they'd be summertime playing basketball. They'd be playing other games, fishing, going swimming. Me and my brother didn't do that. We had to work. But here's the good thing about it. Here I am. I'll be 87 years old in July. When I look back over that, all those kids that was playing during the summertime, they're gone now. Me and my brother next to me, he's a little bit under the weather, but he was the one that kind of ran off and didn't want to do all the things my dad said do. So he married at 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See, he just want to get out of the house. But I look at it this way. I said, maybe that's why we are still here, is because we didn't have time to sit around and do nothing and let our minds ramble. We had to concentrate on what we had to do. And I preached the other Sunday, and I told somebody in the church that in the cotton patch, when my dad was over it, you couldn't quit until you picked 500 pounds a day. And they thought that was amazing that, well, you stayed out there until dark if you didn't have that 500 pounds. And it wasn't easy because then you had your back stayed bent over all the time.
Right.
And I said, if I'd have had a pair of knee pads to put on, it'd have been easy to get to 500 pounds because you could crawl. Cotton wasn't no more than that tall. And I used to cry to get to go to West Texas because they told me cotton was this tall where you could stand up and pick it. I don't know about that. My dad.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah. Well, we were part of Texas. We were right around here in this part of Texas. But cotton around here never got no taller than that. Well, you got to bend over to get that.
To the listeners, that's about 3 feet.
And never. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. We didn't have a lot of playtime. We had to work. It was something found to do. Sometimes I hate to say it because it make my parents look bad, but when we lived out right down the road here, they called it, let's see, what they call it? Seaton family. You're familiar with the Seaton family?
Yeah. Seaton out by Holland Road. Is there Seaton Road?
Seaton Road, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's probably West Seaton.
Which is close to Britain.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we stayed on one. That was a Seaton. We lived on his farm down in Britain. His name was Lloyd Seaton. Now Lloyd's lived over here. He had a little store downtown. It was 3 Seatons that we worked for. And they had sons my age. And those boys were some good guys. Just so happened when my dad was in the rest home here in Mansfield, back in 99 up to 2000, Miss West was in that rest home. Mm-hmm. And when I got there one day, he told me, so I don't remember her first name. She's up there up the room there, up from where we are, and said, her son come in here and see her all the time. Really? So which one? He said Wes Seaton. Now Wes probably, if he's still living, he's probably a year younger than me. He's probably about 85. He had a brother named Charles. Charles was a year older than me, because I can remember them. Those were the boys we played with. Whenever we could play and live right out here on their farm. There was a creek running through. I don't know what a creek was now, but we go down that creek and there wasn't no color. And I played with those boys until it got time for me to go to Mansfield High School.
Was there a time when you were told that you cannot play with kids of other races?
No, nobody ever told me that. They just stopped playing with us.
Oh, they stopped playing with you.
Yeah. It was still all right if they wanted to play on Saturdays. That's the only time we had time to play. Mm-hmm. And we would go in the creek, and I was forbidden to get in the water. I couldn't get in the water, but we'd go down there and shoot. Them boys had BB guns, shooting at squirrels and all that, and we'd wrestle and tussle like boys do. But that happened. That was fine. That was good. But whenever this integration thing come into play, they didn't have any more talk or play. And I'm sure the parents probably told them.
Yeah.
Because this is what happened. The place where we were living, his name was Horace William. I know he'd been dead a long time. But he told my dad, he said that I heard rumors that you're going to send your boy to that school when school starts. He said, yeah, I plan on it. He said, well, you ought not do that. He said, if you do, I'm going to have my house. Mm. We were living on his place. And for a man with a second grade education, I don't know if it's second grade because he couldn't write. He just barely scribbled his name. He was smart enough to know, somebody I guess had told him, they're going to put you off that place if your boy attempt to go to that school. He had already, where Bethlehem Church is now.
Sure.
Across the street over there, it was about 50, 100 yards back behind my grandfather's house back there. My dad had bought 2 acres of land. He just sold that in 2005, I guess, something like he sold the 2 acres after he got where he couldn't stay there by himself. My mom died in 2001. So he sold that property and some folk got it now. They fixed the house up. It's still standing. But that's where we lived when we had to move off that farm.
Do you ever drive by the house and reminisce?
I tried to go up there to look at it one time.
Yeah.
The people there wasn't very friendly.
Oh, no.
No. I told them, I said, we just come by to look at the house because we were kind of raised up in this house here. They remodeled it and done everything. And they come out and say, well, we just don't allow, you got to go up a little road and go through a gate to get to the house. We just don't allow folk just coming in here, looking around. We don't know. I understand.
Sure.
They didn't know me. They don't know what folk, because it was the only house. If you got to their house, that was the only house up there. So they might think that I'm coming in there to steal something or do this. But they weren't very friendly at all, and I didn't go back anymore. And you can't hardly see the house from Broad Street. Yeah. I think Mayor Evans' educational building, if you're at the end of it, you could probably look south and see that house sitting back up there. It's about 100 yards off of Broad Street. And that was the place where I enjoyed life most.
Okay.
Because then we didn't have to work in the fields. My dad had a job in the city.
What was he doing?
He was a steel worker. He worked for Texas Steel.
Okay.
And that was in 56, 57, somewhere. Oh, he bought must have been 55. Because I remember him buying a brand new 56 Chevrolet.
And that was nice.
It was nice.
Life was getting a little better.
See, the whole thing got better when we got off that farm.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't making enough money for us to make it through the winter on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
He got up to Texas Steel, I think maybe then. Now, we'll laugh at that now. But then $1 an hour, what he's making, was good money. 40 hours, you bring home $35, $40 a week. You can't imagine that. I'm sure you can't imagine somebody taking care of family off for $40 a week.
I want to go back before we talk about the school. I mentioned some names in the introduction, and I want to find out what is the relationship to you. So T.M. Moody, Thomas Mayfield Moody, who just received recognition from the Texas Historical Landmark Commission that a historical marker is going to be placed here in Mansfield in his honor. Your relationship to T.M. Moody?
T.M. was my daddy's first cousin.
Okay.
Their dads was brothers, two brothers' kids. Yeah, and the other fellow if you've seen that picture at the bus, the guy standing on the end, Charles Moody, that was T.M.'s nephew. It was his sister's boy. And a lot of people get it. I called Channel 8 about that 2 years ago. They put that on the news, and they called it the Mansfield 5.
Right.
I said, that's a deceiving picture there. That picture, there was only 2 people on that picture that went to that school that day. That was a young man on the end, Charles Moody, and the one in the middle with the white shirt on, Floyd Moody.
That would be you.
That was me.
And your relationship to Charles? Well,
that would be, I guess, my second cousin, I guess.
Second cousin.
Because his mom and my daddy would be first cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
McClendon Moody, the first African-American to be elected to the Mansfield City Council.
Yeah.
What was your relationship to him?
Now that one I wasn't always sure about because I think maybe it was Mac would probably be somewhere in line with my dad's first cousin. Somewhere, I think, first cousin or something. Mac would probably be my second cousin also.
Talk about, again, downtown, because there were not only segregation in the schools, but segregations in businesses downtown. I do recall there was a point when our theater, the Far Best Theater, had you chuckled because you know where I'm going with this.
Where you're going, yeah.
There were 2 separate entrances, and there were 2 separate seating. Were there other instances downtown or in the city of Mansfield?
Well, let me tell you about the theater first.
Okay.
It was called Far Theater. I don't know what's there now in that building.
Now it's still called the Far Best Theater.
Okay.
Yep.
You go in, you buy your ticket, and you go upstairs. The blacks go upstairs. There was a little section up there about as large as your little office right here.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they had a long wooden bench sitting against a wall, and we had to sit sometime on the edge of that bench to watch the movie, because you couldn't get about 10 or 15 people up there at one time. And the bottom part is where blacks couldn't go. It probably would hold 100 people or more. Yeah, I haven't been in that since. But I remember that because the only theater we had then was that place to go. Going to see Lone Ranger. My dad loved Lone Ranger, and he loved westerns. I'll say that.
Okay.
If there was a western playing at the theater, he would go, and me, the whole family. That's all we had until later years. Somebody came in with the idea of having outside theater. The drive-in theater. You remember that?
Sure.
I don't remember where it was now, but it was here somewhere. There was a lot of vacant land around here then. We used to go there every weekend almost, because you sit in the car. I think it may be $1.50 a carload to get in. Sit in the car and watch the movie. And they had a little concession stand, all that you could buy stuff. And I think that's probably what hurt the theater here so bad, because it wasn't like a segregated. You drive in, you just drive in, park where you want to.
Sure.
Find the best place you could find to park. And that helped. I don't know why they put it. I think they would make a lot of money now if they had these outside theaters. People in the summertime love to go and be outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's one. There's still one in Fort Worth, the Coyote Drive-In in Fort Worth.
What street? What would that be located?
What was the old AAA baseball field? So if you're at Fort Worth City Hall, you go down the hill.
Oh yeah,
toward Panther.
Yeah,
and. The minor league baseball
Fort Worth
field.
Cats, I believe.
The Fort Worth Cats played there, and the movie theater is right next door.
Okay.
In fact, you could hear sometimes if there's a ball game going on, you could hear dun 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 dun.
Okay.
During the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right next door.
Yeah. I haven't been that way in a long. My son goes down there a lot in that area on 4th of July, I believe, but I haven't been down there in. I suppose for 25, 30 years. Yes. And Mac was, his mother, I remember her. Now, I remember Mac as a young man. I went to school with Mac for a little while. He's probably about 4 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But when we lived out here on the Seton Farm, we got ready to go to school. My dad had to work on the farm. He couldn't. In September, stuff was out in the field for him to do. He couldn't take me to school. So what he'd do, walk down a fence line all the way over to, now I don't know what that little street is now. Everything was dirt roads when I was coming up. And Mac and his mom and his sister, they lived in a little house over there. And Mac would walk me. I'd walk to school with Mac.
Okay.
Up at Mansfield School, wasn't high school. But Mac, I was a little 6-year-old boy. Walk with Mac. Mac was pretty good size, maybe 12 or 13. He was a lot taller than me, yeah. But Mac was taller than me when he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was the one that would walk me to school because I couldn't do it by myself at 6 years old. But he was the one that would do it.
We're talking with the Reverend Floyd S. Moody, and you can hear part 2 in next week's episode. In the meantime, this is the place where you'll hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love, or support this podcast. If you haven't already, so you never miss an episode, head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever send you any spam. That is my personal promise to you.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without prior written consent is strictly prohibited. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.